My name's Jackie Genova, and I'm 64 years old, and I live in West London. My bone structure is very much like my mother, and I noticed, even as a young girl, my mother became very gaunt in the face, and I've inherited that. So one of the things that I liked about myself now is becoming sort of the things I'm most concerned about, because I can look very, at times if I don't, I can look like I've lost weight, you know, and I'm fed up with everyone saying, oh, have you lost weight? Have you lost weight? And it's began to worry me, because I don't want to have that gaunt look.
My passion for aesthetic medicine started probably halfway through my medical training, and by the time I qualified as a hospital doctor, I was extremely passionate about this sector. As a woman, I was always aware of the importance of feeling confident in your appearance and in your own skin, and for me, the ability to help women and men achieve that confidence is extremely rewarding.
But Dr. Leah had suggested for me, because of my concern around my bone structure and the fact that I was looking quite gaunt, she suggested the Silhouette Soft and said that this was a new treatment that was she was introducing, and if I was interested, she'd highly recommended it. And I trust her, because I think, you know, for every time, you know, I've had treatment here, I go away very happy, and I feel safe in her hands. So I said yes, and I would be more than happy to have the treatment.
Silhouette Soft, also known as the puppet facelift or the one-stitch lift, are dissolvable sutures similar to the type of suture or stitch that you may have if you were to undergo an injury. It's essentially a dissolvable stitch. The unique thing about Silhouette Soft is that actually, as well as the dissolvable stitch, they contain tiny little cones, and the cones are the magic. The cones themselves, when they're in situ within the face or neck, they actually stimulate your body's own collagen. So not only do you get the immediate lift from the face being essentially stitched into a higher position, but over time, as the cones dissolve within the tissue, they actually regenerate the body's own collagen, and that adds to the regenerative process and gives a really natural but effective lifting, firming and enhancing effect. On the day, the patient will come to clinic. First of all, we will ask them to remove any makeup. If they have worn makeup on the day, we advise them not to. We then will do a medical grade cleanse of the face to ensure the area is completely clean. We will then take before photos, and we'll go through the consent process. Should the patient wish to proceed, we will then measure the various vectors that we plan to insert the threads in, and we will size the threads accordingly. Once the patient has been measured and marked, we will then insert a small amount of local anaesthetic just to anaesthetise the entry and exit points of the stitch, and as such it will make the procedure completely painless for the patient. We then will insert the threads. We will bore a small hole just with the needle as opposed to cutting the skin with a scalpel, and just insert the thread into that small little hole. That's the entry point. The procedure of inserting each thread takes approximately 5 to 10 minutes per thread with a skilled practitioner. After the threads have been inserted, we will then tighten the threads to make sure that we have got a suitable amount of lift or elevation of the tissues that we're seeking to adjust. And we will then cut the ends of the threads flush with the skin, so that all that will remain is the various tiny little marks for the entry and exit points. At that point, the patient will sit down with myself, and we will have a detailed consultation regarding the aftercare, which is integral to the treatment outcome.
I had the treatment on the Saturday. By Monday I worked. No one noticed, and my clients didn't notice anything. So in fact there wasn't really much, didn't affect me. I didn't have a headache, or I wasn't sore. I mean, I was prepared for these possibilities. After 2 weeks, I think it looked better as well. So it's sort of progressive. So I walked out feeling happy, but then I certainly felt happier after 2 weeks. And people noticed something, but didn't. It's not as though they didn't say you've had work done. They noticed it. So but they just said, "Oh, you look great. Have you had your hair done?" And so before I actually admitted that I'd had anything done, people noticed a difference without it looking obvious.